It's the end of the year, and it's time for everyone's top 10 lists. But the problem is, I didn't play every game that came out in 2021, and a lot of my favorite experiences were from years past. With that in mind, I decided to just rank every game I played this year. You can take the first half of the list and consider it my bottom 10, and the top half of my list the top 10. But there are only 19 games, so one game gets to be the best and the worst game I've played. So that should be a huge honor.
アクセル全開で突っ切りましょう。ああ、しっかり捕まっとけよ、馬場ちゃん。
Number 19, The Sopranos. The Sopranos is one of the greatest television shows of all time, delivering the quality direction and writing of a Hollywood film every episode, and changed the way we think about television and television production. Coming fresh off the heels of watching through the series, I thought it would be a fun idea to play the game, but I was wrong.
You're welcome.
I hate this game. Number 18, Arkham series. This series is an unfortunate example of a series getting worse as it goes on. I played each of these as they came out, and played them again this year just for funsies, but it didn't work. You can see the way these games kinda ruined video games for a generation. Number 17, AI The Somnium Files. Fuck this game.
Years old. The Tsujima family owned a vast amount of real estate in the district. Adjusting for inflation, the land was valued above 30 billion yen. The Tsujima family sold off its holdings. 6 months later, the incident occurred.
The explosion at the chemical plant.
And of course, land prices fell drastically to less than 1/30th their original value.
The timing is certainly suspicious. To sell that amount of land just 6 months before it happened.
After the accident, Tsujima purchased all of the land back for just 1 billion yen.
So he's got 29 billion yen in his pocket and 1 billion yen of land.
Correct.
True. But I don't see the point of it. It's not like he got anything out of it.
Stupid fuck. Number 16, BioShock. This game is just like you remember it. Neat. Number 15, GTA 3, Definitive Edition. This game is also just like you remember it. It's kind of funny that the only two real game mechanics are shooting and driving, and they come up with all kinds of interesting ideas and challenges based on just those two. In GTA 5, it's still that the only two real In GTA 5, that's still the only two real... In GTA 5, that's still... In GTA 5, that's still the only two real mechanics, but they make you work a shift as a stevedore, like it's fucking Shenmue. Number 14, Honey Pop 2 Double Date. I present this ranking without comment. Number 13, Crash Bandicoot N. Sane Trilogy. You want to talk about a game that's just like you remember it. Sheesh. I love it though. Number 12, GTA 4. My snarky comment about game mechanics still applies. This is where the longshoreman stuff creeps in, but you do get a great crime story out of it. I really just didn't like GTA 5, alright? Number 11, Metal Gear Solid The Twin Snakes. I actually kinda like this game. Since MGS1 is one of like 8 PS1 games that holds up, I would say that you should still play that. Twin Snakes has kind of a bad reputation for silly, but I think it's a good kind of silly. Check it out. Number 10, Hades. Game is fun, writing is cute, characters are interesting and thoughtful, and I suck at it. Oh, alright. Damn, I didn't even get killed by her. I got killed by the nerd running around near her. That sucks.
Got to keep at it.
Alright. Number 9, Spyro the Dragon. I adore these fucking games. I actually play at least the first 2 at least once a year. The music is some of my favorite in any game ever, and I recommend it if you just need something to wind down and chill. Number 8, Metal Gear Solid 2. This is not controversial at all. This is not controversial at all, but it's still crazy how poignant this game is 20 whole ass years later. As a fun fact, when this game first came out, I was 8, and I didn't realize you select things with circle, and my dumbass wouldn't try. It took me like a month to finally get to play it. Number 7, Portal. Everyone loves Portal. What do you expect me to say? Number 6, Mass Effect Legendary. Full disclosure, my friends, I didn't play 3 yet, just never got around to it. But not only are these 2 games some fine science fiction space adventure material, but by the second game it becomes one of the finest cover shooters I ever did play. The Ryuga Gotoku games. Oh. Number 5, Ryuga Gotoku games. I got into this series just a couple years ago and I immediately fell in love. Just this year, I chewed through Yakuza 3, 4, 5, 6, Kiwami 2, and Lost Judgment. Now these games are all the same. Sometimes you go to other cities, and sometimes there's an engine change, but it's hard to say the gameplay experience is super different in each game, Like a Dragon being the exception, of course. There's something comfortable about going through these, though. Easy wreck. Number 4. The Resident Evil series. As consistent as RGG games are, Resident Evil is inconsistent. In my list of games this year, we have tank controls, third-person shooters, and first-person shooters, all balancing horror at a different level than the one that came before it. And while the gameplay is inconsistent, so is the quality. I loved Village the first time I played it, but the moment I finished the game, I closed the program and never opened it again. On the other end, I sometimes will play through Remake in one sitting just for fun. This is a weird entry because I played through Revelations 2, Village, RE4, RE7, Remake, and RE2. And that's the countdown order they go in too. RE2 is just that dang good. Number 3, the Talos Principle. The Talos Principle is one of those games that comes from the legacy of Portal, but asks the question of what is life and what constitutes it. The puzzles are puzzling, the world is interesting, and the music is there. Just the same, if you like puzzle games and you like reading, check this one out. Number 2, Bully. This game is one of my favorites ever, from the moment it came out when I was in middle school. Playing it again recently, I love it just as much. From the about perfect soundtrack to the feel of the town to the little class mini-games, even though the ending falls apart and the PC version is a nightmare to run. Cool. Give me a second. I would recommend this game to anyone who's undergone high school, which is statistically at least one of you. Number 1, Hitman 2016. Hitman 2016 fucking rules. I've always been a fan of the series. Just as usual, I suck at them. I suck at most games, but I digress. Each game in the series has made huge leaps towards creating the dream, and they finally achieved it here. You may notice that this footy is pulled from Hitman 2. That's because the moment I finished this one, Hitman 2 went on sale, and while it missed the cutoff for this year's list, it's certain to be high on next year's, with Hitman 3 being one of my most anticipated titles next year.
You know this man? Hey, amigo.
Until then, my friends, I love you. This has been a rough year for everyone. I had to deal with a bunch of issues, and one of my big respites were playing these games. Many people joined me while I got to experience these games, as I made all my stuff look better. My views on my streams are in the single digits, sometimes single digit. But I appreciate everyone who comes to hang out with me just the same. I hope to see you again in 2022. Happy New Year.